Okay, welcome back. So what we're going to do is we're also going to talk about different kinds of conflict that come with regulations. You have to remember the government can adjudicate, or basically, the courts can adjudicate or basically step in anytime that there's some sort of a conflict. There can be conflicts between regulatory agencies, conflicts between businesses and the government. There's all sorts of conflicts that can arise specifically, and they typically stem around interpretation or violations of regulations. So, of course, the courts have the final say. Now, again, looking at these interpretations, a lot of regulations are worded in a very vague way. It's very difficult to interpret. Okay, I see the regulation, but what does it actually mean? And sometimes the guidance isn't even all that clear. And because of that, again, it's bounded rationality in action. People can use bounded rationality to their advantage to interpret regulations in ways that are not the way that they intended to be interpreted. Okay? So the Chevron Doctrine basically says, okay, let me write this down. Is the pen showing up? The Chevron Doctrine basically says a court should defer to specific agency rules based on common sense and reasonable interpretation. Okay, so it says, okay, I know the regulation says that, for example, here's a good example. Okay, the post office. Some of you may or may not know this, but actually, employees of the post office, particularly mail drivers, can violate the law if it's near and dear to the delivery of mail. Okay, so what does that usually mean in practice? Well, maybe they can drive the wrong way down a street, for example, to deliver mail, or they could double park. Again, some minor kind of inconveniences, but it's to make sure that the mail gets delivered. That's what the regulation says. Okay, now you can interpret that broad, thing that the law can be violated if it's near and dear to the delivery of mail. But does that mean, for example, that someone should, hit a vehicle while they're trying to? Does that mean the mailman should try to hit a vehicle in order to deliver the mail? No. Does that mean that the mailman shouldn't wear a proper postal uniform if it's in the interest of delivering the mail? No. Okay. Common sense would say, I got it. Drive the wrong way down the street a little bit, that's okay. Double park a little bit, that's okay. But threatening public safety or health, that's probably not okay. Okay. Even though it doesn't specifically say in the regulation you can't violate public safety or public health for delivering mail, the Chevron Doctrine would say, okay, use common sense. Is that really near and dear towards the delivery of the mail? Now, of course, regulation is very costly. And there's two different ways of looking at regulatory cost. There's, of course, the total dollar cost. Now, how much does it actually cost to pass and draft legislation? And, of course, there's the actual cost of administering it. The cost of creating a federal agency, the cost of making sure that the monitors are actually checking up on people, the cost of making sure that people are actually following the laws. It can be the cost can become quite exorbitant. Now, the largest of all the regulatory agencies is, of course, the EPA. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, we talk about regulation typically in the popular media. We say, regulation, it's costly, it's inconvenient, it detracts from business, it's all real bad. That's the way we look at it. However, I'd point out that there are some good things with regulation. Okay? First of all, it reduces discrimination in the workplace. Okay? You have to remember, think about the civil rights movement, workplace discrimination was rampant. Okay? And again, the government fortunately stepped in for the promotion of societal interests in the face of what business owners were doing and helped reduce discrimination in the workplace. That's a great thing. Improving environmental regulation. Okay? Those of you that like history, again, look at some pictures of Manchester during the early 1900s. Look at pictures of Paris during the early 1900s. I mean, these were cities covered in just trash coming out of smokestacks. Okay? We have improved the environment because of regulation. Regulation has made sure that the market functions properly. Regulation is also a great way to fight corruption. We'll talk about corruption a little bit later in this course. It's banned dangerous products from entering the market, as we'll talk about during consumerism. It's strengthened the banking system. I mean, FDIC, that's a great thing. You know that the bank will not lose all of your money. Or if they do, the government will back it up. Okay? That's huge. That gives us faith in banks so that we don't have to hide our money under a mattress. Cutting workplace fatalities. Okay? OSHA, for example. Okay? Making sure that work environments are safe. Making sure that people don't get injured in the workplace. That's a great thing. Helping the elderly. Think of the Social Security Administration. Government pensions. What a wonderful thing. And of course, controlling communicable diseases. Helping to reduce the risk of disease outbreaks. I mean, these are all big deals. And that wraps up what we've got today on this module. Hope you found it interesting. We've got a nice, those of you that are sitting through the in-person class lectures with me, we got a nice article to kind of follow this up as well. But again, my name is Duncan Pelly. I hope you've enjoyed this lecture, and we'll see you next time.